No.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the City of Paterson Board of Adjustment meeting of April 14th, 2022. Chairman Joyed Rohim, you may continue.
Yes, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the
republic for which
it stands one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Mr. LaRocca, can you proceed with the agenda? Thank you.
Yes, the first matter on the agenda is 29-36 Canal Street LLC, property located at 29-36 Canal Street.
Mark, just give a minute. Meg, do you want to call the roll call?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Commissioners,
And then also want to have a moment of silence for the chair.
thank you. I was going to do that first. The Board of Adjustment is willing and will be doing this for 16 more days. Am I correct?
Yes.
To give a moment of silence for all the years that Chairman Gerald Thaxton was in office. So let's have a moment of silence, please. Thank you, everyone, for that difficult time for all of us to lose a great man. So we thank you for this moment. Commissioners, Commissioner Barak, are you present, sir?
present, yes.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you for joining us this evening. Commissioner Furman,
Present.
Commissioner Minauro,
Present.
Commissioner Watkins,
Present.
Commissioner White,
Present.
Commissioner Arenas,
Present.
Commissioner Vega,
Present.
Commissioner, I apologize for that. Chairman Rohim,
Present.
thank you. You have 8 commissioners in attendance this evening. You may proceed.
Thank you. Maggie or Marco, can you read the agenda, please?
Sure. First, I'm going to give the notice. Notice pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act addressing the effect of coronavirus measures on the next public meeting, consistent with the coronavirus-related restrictions of Executive Order Number 107, given on Saturday, March 21st, 2020, by Governor Philip D. Murphy. The Board of Adjustment of the City of Paterson will not conduct in-person participation of the public at all future meetings until further notice. However, public participation will be available by means of communication equipment pursuant to NJSA 10:4-8, commencing on Wednesday, April 23rd, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. Though there may potentially be a practical need for a limited number of administrative, technical, or other city personnel to be present in or near the council chambers, 3rd floor, City Hall, 155 Market Street, Paterson, New Jersey, in-person participation of the public is prohibited. Nevertheless, for reasons of compliance with the said Executive Order Number 107, public participation will be available by calling 1-973-321-1579. Meeting ID number is 711-680-0001. With regard to the Board of Adjustment regular meeting of Thursday, April 14th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. The public may also participate in the meeting by accessing the website of the City of Paterson at www.patersonnj.gov. The following matters will be heard this evening. First matter on the agenda is 29-36 Canal Street LLC, 29-36 Canal Street, Block 5509, Lot 9. There is an adjournment request with regard to this. We'll come back to it in a moment. Second matter on the agenda is for 151-159 Crooks Avenue LLC, for property located at 149-161 and Crooks Avenue, Block 708, lots 1, 2, 25, and 26, 510-516 Getty Avenue, Block 708, Lot 1, 150 Knickerbocker Avenue, Block 7008, Lot 25, and 510-518 Getty Avenue, Block 7008, Lot 26. There's also a request for an adjournment on that matter. We'll address that in a moment. The third matter on the agenda is JCM Investors 1012 LLC for property located at 175-177 Pearl Street, Block 4208, Lot 39. This is an application to construct a 3-story, 9-unit residential apartment building with 8 one-bedrooms and 1 studio apartment with a rooftop terrace as an amenity. The existing multifamily building will be demolished. The applicant provides full security. There's no parking 3 feet from the property line, and 1 foot is proposed. 16 parking spaces are required, and 6 parking spaces are proposed. Use bulk and site plan are requested. This is property that's in the 5th Ward redevelopment zone, and it was adjourned from the February 10, 2022 meeting. The last matter on the agenda is 443 Broadway LLC, Taco Bell, property located at 443-451 Broadway, Block 351, Lot 3. Applicant is seeking to demolish an automobile service facility on the subject property, construct a Taco Bell restaurant with related on-site parking lot and drive-through facility. The applicant proposes 8 on-site parking spaces for employees and patrons. It's use bulk and site plan in the 4th Ward redevelopment zone. This is the first time it's been heard. So if we could address, Mr. Chairman, the adjournment request on item number 1, please.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Alan Maricondo on behalf of the applicant. I did correspond with the zoning and planning staff earlier today on behalf of my applicant, 29-36 Canal Street. In view of the circumstances with the 2 religious observances falling today, and also on behalf of my client, we would like to re-notify because we felt our list was somewhat out of time from the earlier listing of this matter before reconsideration. So we're respectfully requesting that this matter be carried, and I understand that a June 23rd date would be available at this time. That's my understanding.
Maggie, can we give them the date for June 23rd? So you want a special date, a special meeting date, or a regular
That
meeting?
would be a request for a regular meeting date, and pursuant to my discussions with the staff earlier today, that was an available date that I wanted to relay to you, Chairman and staff, at this time. My second matter, which is a carried matter as well, that is a request for a special meeting, which I understand could be listed, or at another date, not.
Let's just,
Okay,
hold on. Let's just deal with the first one first, only so that we can deal with the notice. And I know there's objectors on it, this way we don't confuse that issue, then we'll come to the second one.
Sure.
Mr. LaRocca,
Yes.
is he looking for a special meeting on both
No.
or the
No,
first?
he just indicated the second one, and there was a proposed date given, and the first one is gonna be a regular meeting. Is that correct, Mr. Maricondo?
The Canal Street one, we're requesting a regular meeting date, and I was advised earlier that June 23rd could be available.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this. Did I give you June 23rd as a date?
No, the office staff earlier today in planning and zoning indicated that that wasn't available.
Okay, can you tell me the name of the staff member who gave you the date?
The administrator, Ms. Perez.
She's not an administrator. She's a secretary during the day. June 23rd, that is for this application. For Canal Street, am I correct? Okay. Mr.
Excuse me, Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Minaro, just permission to speak.
Yes.
Is this the first time this has been carried, or is this?
This is a matter, Commissioner, you know what, I apologize, that's the second matter.
Yeah, on this matter, council, the board granted reconsideration. This is its first listing back on the agenda for a regular hearing date. My office had received some requests about the concerns about the Muslim and Catholic holidays falling tonight. And also, we wanted to re-notify because we realized that the list was quite old. So,
Well, okay, so this is the one we spoke about, that there's a potential notice issue because you worked off the list
yes,
the previous time, the
Right.
matter went for reconsideration, was listed, but now the tax list has been updated and you need to re-notify.
correct.
Yeah, okay.
Understood, thank you.
Thank you. May I also answer Commissioner Minauto's question and actually explain to her, I do not have,
It's all right. I think we just made the record. It was listed for reconsideration. This is the first listing since reconsideration.
Yeah,
It's a notice issue. It's a valid issue. Let's move on. Is June 23rd, the date we're giving this matter?
no,
Yes, that's fine.
excuse me, you may agree, but we have an application on it as well. Gary, is there anything you need for this application? Will they have ample time to be heard on June 23rd?
I do have the, Mr. Mariconda, the application is now revised to 4 units. Is that not correct?
that is correct. And we have your review, and I think
Okay.
we're ready to proceed.
Yeah, I have everything, Maggie. Thank you.
Okay, so this matter, this evening, for 2936 Canal Street, am I correct? Mr. Naraka?
Are you correct about what? We're talking about Canal Street, yes.
That's correct. So this application has been carried to June 23rd, 2022 at 7:30 PM.
So, to the members of the public and the interested parties, it's my understanding there are objectors on this matter. This matter is going to be carried to June 23rd, 2022, for the reasons stated on the record, one of being that new notice will be sent out. But the date is going to be June 23rd, and at that time, you'll have an opportunity to be heard, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. This matter is adjourned, and council, you waive statutory time requirements?
We do, as per my letter as well, yes.
Thank you. So Chairman, can we move on to number 2?
Yes,
All right, on number 2, we're gonna address it in a moment, but there was a call placed to my office, I believe an email to Ms. Vega, and it was followed up with a formal request. Some of the neighbors had concerns, there are interested in parties and objectors to this application, and due to the holiday season and some of the neighbors, some being Catholics, some being Muslim, and having concerns about appearing this evening, there was a request for adjournment, and council has indicated that he would accommodate that request. Therefore, we're looking for a new day. My understanding, council, is that you spoke to the staff and were provided with a special meeting date?
Yes, I was provided with a date that was available on June 16th.
and that's a special meeting, correct?
Correct. And that, yes, that is correct.
All right. So, Chairman, we're gonna carry this to June 16th?
Yes, since it's a special meeting, we can carry it.
Yes, and again, the request for the adjournment came from the objectors, and the applicant was gracious enough to accept that, request and put this matter off until June 16th, 2022 at 7:30 PM. Council's waiving statutory time requirements through that June 16th date. Is that correct, council?
That is correct. All of what you've said is on the record, is also included in my letter. I agree, yes.
All right, and so for the benefit, if there are any of the members of the public watching, this matter is going to be carried to June 16, 2022. And unlike the matter you just heard before, there's an issue with the mailings and the list. That's why council is sending out new notices on the matter you heard before. On this matter, council is not required to send out new notices in the mail. This is your notice that the matter is being carried to June 16th, 2022. Council, do you know if this is the 7:30 PM or 8 PM special meeting?
My understanding would be 7:30.
Okay, thank you. That's 7:30 PM. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good holiday, everyone.
You too.
Okay.
Chairman, we'll call number 3.
Yes, let's continue with number 3.
All right, JCM Investors, 175-177 Pearl Street. Counsel, you ready to proceed? You're muted.
No, we can't hear you. No, not yet. Not yet.
You might have to hold it down.
Okay, I think you're unmuted now. Oh, you muted yourself again. We can't hear you. Okay, try now. No.
Mr. Rubin, I don't hear you.
All right. We can hear you now.
You hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much. This is a continuation of an application that was heard on January 6th, if you believe, 2022. And we do have a full transcript of those proceedings. Hopefully those members who were not able to attend the January 6th, 2022 meeting has the ability to read the transcripts. We were asked to do that so that we would have a full board. And I would ask the board whether those transcripts were disseminated to everyone, and we do have a full board this evening.
Maggie, can you please verify that?
Ask the attorney.
Melinda, can you please tell me who was here last time?
I
January
think
6th.
Manara had to read the transcript, and I'm not sure if it was Vega.
And were transcripts provided?
Yes, they were provided. The last time the matter got carried in February because they did not read it and they were told to read it.
Commissioner Vega, did you read the transcript?
What?
You
I read
did
it
not.
recently? I did not.
Thank you. Commissioner Minaldo, you did not as well.
So how many do we have that are able to vote this evening?
And Melinda, can we do this together?
Just give me 1 second, please.
Thank you.
Okay, commissioners that were there, well, Paterson's not here anymore. Rohim, Arenas, Barat, Berman, Watkins, and White. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4.
So repeat it again,
Oh,
but
wait a minute.
slower.
Wait a minute, White recused herself.
That's correct. She recused herself.
You have Rohim, Arenas, Barat, Berman, and Watkins. You only have 5.
That's correct.
So how many commissioners?
Because Commissioner, Chairman Rohim, you left for an emergency
Yes.
that day, and Commissioner White recused herself. So you only have 3, 4, 5.
No. No.
And how many commissioners?
No,
supposed to get
excuse, Can I say something?
Yes.
Yes.
January 6th, Rohim was present.
Yeah, I was present that day.
He left and the matter was carried to February. And the February is when he probably wasn't there. You only have 5. You needed Vega.
Well, this is JCM, right? Am I correct?
Correct.
I have the vote in front of me, Emily. On March 10th, it was carried to April 14th.
Okay, but it was heard January 6th. That's when the transcripts, they did.
Correct.
Let me just stop. Who was there on January 6th, please?
I gave you the name for January 6th.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
And on March 6th, it was canceled because the 2 commissioners did not
I
read the
got you.
transcript.
I got you. Just do me a favor.
Raheem?
March 10th was the date, not March 6th.
Ms. Vega, please let her speak. Can you stop talking for a moment?
The matter was heard on January 6th. They carried it to March 10th.
I'm with you. Just give me the names for January 6th, please, again.
Rohim,
Okay.
Arenas, Barak, Furman, and Watkins. Commissioner White is recused from this matter.
All right, so we have 5. Council, we have 5. So what do you want to do, Council?
What I would like to do is move forward, and if we find that there are problems with it and there are questions, we'll adjourn to another day, but if everyone is good with it, we'll move forward. I mean, I'll have this go with another, we've been here now 3 times.
Right, so what you could do is you could proceed. If you feel like, you feel safe with a 5 vote, then
Right.
absolutely, you can go forward with the 5 vote. If you feel that you want to put it off, what we can do is, since we already have the transcripts from January 6th, and the other 2 commissioners are here, we can have them maybe read the transcripts for the next, and bring it back for a vote.
Right, if it appears that everyone is in accord with what we're doing, all we're doing is dropping down 2 units, as suggested by the board. That's what we're doing tonight.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. And I want to accommodate you because I know you're here, you're writing, I know you got the transcript. What we're not going to do though is do the whole application. Then if you think there's a problem, then come back and do the whole application again. But if you wanted to carry it for a vote and have the other 2 commissioners read the transcripts that are here tonight and hear tonight's testimony, that would be an option as well.
Well, that would be a third option, but.
But the second option of doing it over again, it's just.
Let's move forward. Let's move forward.
Because that's not an option. Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Rubin, don't forget, we do have 2 D variances, one for use and one for floor area ratio.
Right, which requires 5 votes.
That's correct, yes.
Right, but if it, I hate to take a chance like that, if we knew that the 2 absent members would read the transcripts for the next meeting, I would have no problem with that, but.
Well, I mean, we will have them do that. We will have them do that if that's what you want to do, and then have them come in with familiarity. Absolutely, we can do that. Or
I think that would be the safest.
Wait, just one attack. It's difficult to do. Or you could proceed, and if you feel comfortable, you could go to the vote. I'm not suggesting you do that or not do that. And if you proceed and you don't feel comfortable, we could put it off for a vote, but we just can't put it off to redo it again. That can't be
Right.
that can't be an option.
Let's just. But
Chairman?
for a vote, you would need to do another transcript.
Well, you wouldn't have to do the transcript of tonight. We have enough tonight, and we already have the transcript from the January 6th, is what I'm saying.
All right, let's put on the testimony, but put off the vote.
Okay, 1 second, Mr. Rubin. Commissioner Barrow, you have a question?
Well, the suggestion, my recommendation was for Mr. Rubin to perhaps adjourn and let's make sure that the 2 commissioners that haven't read it read it, because I think you're taking a big chance over here, especially when you have 2 variances that require 5 votes. we only had 5 people voting.
I understand that, but the attorney has every right to proceed, am I correct?
Yes, but if I am told that there is.
It was just a recommendation, that's all.
No, and I appreciate that recommendation. Perhaps it might be best to just take the whole thing and put it on another date. And hopefully the 2 commissioners will have a chance to read the January 6th transcripts, and we can move forward with a full board. I think that would be the best way to handle this.
I agree.
Mr. LaRocca?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel bad that they're not able to go forward this evening, but I think that's probably the best strategy. It's his decision, however he wants to proceed.
Good, we're all on the
I
same
think
page.
it's a wise decision.
Good, we're all on the same page. I like that.
Second. Commissioner Vega and Commissioner Moraro, do you have the transcript or no?
Looking for it right now.
I have it, I'll make sure they have it,
Okay.
but this was a condition at the last meeting. We just have to make sure that this is done, but because there is a virtual meeting, it's a little difficult to really get them to sign the certification. But at the next meeting, I'm gonna make sure that they have read it.
Commissioner Minaro, I just have a question.
Yes,
Who
yes.
would have had to have provided that for me and asked me where to go down to City Hall to sign for that?
No, listen, I'm gonna answer this, Chairman Rohi, may I answer
Yes,
this? Karina, Commissioner Minato, I have to look at my email, because if we had a meeting, I'm almost 100% sure that I was at this meeting. I gave the transcripts to you and the other gentleman, but I will be honest with you, you can't sign the certification, because it's done at the meeting by me. After the meeting, that I can tell you, you read it. But this is the second meeting and you did not. So if you can just wait till this meeting, I will notify the entire board of who got notified and when it was sent to you.
I'm only asking because I don't have record of it in my email. That's it.
That's correct. That's why during this meeting is difficult. But I will guarantee you that I will make sure that I rectify this for you. All my apologies, Commissioner Milaudo.
And to wrap it up, Mr. Chairman, can we have a short date to come back? The only issue here is that we're dropping 2 units, same application, same configuration, but we dropped 2 units because that was the suggestion of your professionals and the board.
Mr. Chairman, just a question to Mr. Evans. Mr. Evans, what is the date of your, the last revision on this application?
Okay, let me get the plan out here. Give me a second. The last date we have is February 28th, 22, and it's a note that says reduced to 7-unit revision.
Okay, yes, I have the February 28th, Chairman, Commissioners, and Mr. Rubin. At the last meeting, I did ask Mr. Evans, your building and your offsets do not add up to 100 feet. You remember that? You have a rear offset of 22 feet and change. And if I hold your numbers, it should be 23 feet and change. I also mentioned that you're not listing all the variances in your box. So since we're carrying it, maybe you can you bring your plans up to date. I did ask for a few things. If you call my office or email me, I'll try to get all of them, but the dimensions didn't add up. All the variances were not listed. I thought there was 1 or 2 other things, but I thought you did mark them down. So if you need to go over them, Mr. Evans, before the next date, I will go over it with you just to make sure, because I had a few questions back then, and if they weren't changed, they're still existing. Thank you.
So what I'll do is I have your last report dated the March 3rd, and it addresses some of those items. And what I'll do is address those items and what we spoke of tonight, and I'll send you electronic copy to review. If everything's okay, I'll submit hard copies to the board.
Right, I think the rear offset should be now 23 feet, 2317, either that, or the front offset is going to change, or the building dimension. You didn't have it didn't measure 100 feet, you were about almost a foot short in your dimensions, so, and then if you use my list of, variances, you could, revise your, zoning chart. I think that was it,
Okay.
okay, all right.
Is it possible to have a date so I don't have to re-notify everyone? Again,
Wait, do you have a date for them, or?
Are you asking me or Mr. LaRocca?
I'm asking you, Maggie.
Thank you. So, this application, may I ask the attorney? Mr. Rubin, can you just go over what you're actually going to do with the application and how many units?
He did,
Right now, let's just work
He
on.
may have, I understand that. He may have done that. Or, excuse me, Gary, why don't you tell me?
what?
yeah, Mr. Rubin, Mr. Rubin, wait. Yeah. Mr. Rubin did submit a new letter of intent, a revised letter of intent, March 4th, 2022, which says exactly what the plan was revised to.
Thank you.
It did go from 9 to 7. I do have the letter. If you do need it, Maggie, I'll send it to you so you can read it into the record when we have the new meeting.
I'd appreciate that. I didn't mean to disrespect anyone, Mr. LaRocco. I understand. Some of the things I don't see, but when Gary puts something out there, I always want to make sure that I'm correct. So it's from 9 to 7 units. I appreciate that. So if you're going to change 2 of the units, which ones are they?
They're in my report too, Maggie. My report says that it's going to be 4 2-bedrooms, 2 1-bedroom, 1 studio. It's in my report, and Mr. Rubin was clear on his new revised letter of intent. So
Thank you very much for clarifying that. I apologize to everyone.
But all I need is a new date, as soon as humanly possible, so we.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, I sent an email with the transcript to all commissioners on March the 2nd, and I made it clear that Commissioner Manaro and
Yes.
Bacon needed to read it. It was March 2nd, if you're looking for the email.
Thank you very much. And I will check my email as well. It's
We got a date.
excuse me?
Maggie, can we just give them a date so we can continue?
Yes, sir, but you have to also understand what the court report and I are trying to
No,
rectify.
we don't have to try to do this on the record. We need a date and we need to move on.
All right, so Mr. LaRocca, why don't you suggest a date?
I don't, because I don't.
Maggie, don't you have the calendar?
Yes, I do. So, yeah, you can have, hold on. July 14th?
That's more than 120 days. Wait, please.
Okay, then I'm gonna have to go off the record and call my chairman. Okay?
Yeah, we're talking
Thank you.
about.
All right, let me speak to my chairman. One moment. there is no other date available. The date of this meeting will be carried to July 14th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m.
We will be there. Thank you.
To the members of the public, if there's anybody who's here as an interested party or an objector with regard to JCM Investors 175-177 Pearl Street, this matter is being carried to July 14, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. On that date, at that time, you'll have the opportunity to listen to the testimony, ask questions of the witnesses, and give any comments or statements that you so wish. There'll be no further notice. This is your notice that the JCM matter is carried to July 14th, 2022. Chairman, can I call the next matter?
I assume we don't know whether that will be virtual or in person.
It's gonna be in person meeting.
Oh, it will be in person?
Yes.
I thank you.
We'll go back to in-person meeting in May.
Whatever is going to happen, I will make sure, Mr. Rubin, that the public is aware, and the mayor, and I will make sure it's posted in the city website. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman, can I call the fourth matter?
Yes, please, go ahead, Mark.
All right. The next matter to be heard is 443 Broadway LLC, for Taco Bell, for property located at 443-451 Broadway. Is the applicant ready?
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name, please, because it doesn't show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I typed it in twice.
Oh, there it goes. Now it came up.
Okay,
Now
great. Well, good evening, everybody. My name, as noted on the screen, is Stephen Chepis. I'm the applicant's attorney. It's my great privilege to appear before you. It's been many moons since I've been before your board, but I've been here a couple times before. This evening, we have an application for you for a new Taco Bell restaurant with a drive-through at 443 Broadway. It's in the TOD District 4th Ward Redevelopment Zone. Restaurants are permitted, but drive-throughs are not. There presently is an automobile-type use on the property. It's kind of like repairs and tires, and then there's also a delivery service, a cab stand. What we're proposing to do is to demolish the existing building and remove all the existing improvements and totally redevelop the property for one new standalone Taco Bell restaurant with a drive-through and a small parking lot. While the use itself of restaurant is permitted, the drive-through is not. There are some bulk variances associated with signage and setback of the building. There's actually a setback that says you can't be further than 5 feet from the front property line, where we're proposing a little further back in order to accommodate the drive-through. I do point out that there is a McDonald's restaurant a short distance away in the same zone with a drive-through, and likewise a Kentucky Fried Chicken, and just around the corner a Walgreens with a drive-through. None of which are permitted, but all are in the same zone. So we're hopeful to convince you that this is a worthwhile project and that it should receive your approval. So we have some witnesses for you this evening. Our first witness that we have for you is Mr. Devang Shah. He's a representative of the Taco Bell franchisee. He's out here somewhere in the midst. So I'm going to ask that he could identify himself and then be sworn, and he can tell you a little bit about the operational aspects of this project.
Do you have an architect, sir, or?
We have a project engineer who will address the engineering, site design, and the architecture. And then likewise, we have a professional planner. So if you like, I can identify them, and they could call the roll if you want to swear them all in at once.
We'll swear in one at a time, right, Belinda?
Yes.
Okay, so you can go ahead with your first witness.
Very good. Mr. Shah, are you out there?
Does he
Yes,
have a
sir.
camera? I cannot swear him in unless
Yeah.
I see him.
Yes, you have to be seen, Mr. Shah. Can you turn on your camera?
Yes, my camera should be on now.
We cannot see you yet. Yeah, now we see you.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay. Can you please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Can you please state your full name for the record?
Devang Shah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Shah. I had introduced you as a representative of the franchisee who's the intended operator of this facility. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this particular business entity, your relationship to it, and then tell us what you know about this particular site and the proposed operation.
Sure. So I serve in the capacity of Director of Operations for what we are called Fiesta Restaurant Group, which is owned and operated by Ketan Shah. He's the franchisee of Taco Bell. So I'm representing him and our company in this instance. So basically, we have an existing restaurant in Paterson on Market Street, which does not have the drive-through facility. It does not offer any parking, not even a street parking. And we are, through the pandemic, and we are trying to hear what customer is saying. We have been here for 6 or 7 years, and we saw the need for a drive-through Taco Bell in town that can serve a different area of the town, and collectively, the people who prefer the drive-through use can have that facility. So therefore, we are actively looking, and we came to a conclusion, especially like Mr. Steven said, there is a McDonald's and a KFC who's been proven that drive-through works on Broadway. So we identified this lot and proposed that we do a Taco Bell here with a drive-through.
Okay, so let's talk about the alternative, a Taco Bell on this property with no drive-through. Is that a feasible project for you and your company?
No, sir. It would be rejected not only from a business perspective for ourselves, but also from corporate, which is Taco Bell corporate. Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about the competition on the street. You're going up against the king of the hamburgers and the chicken. So how do you feel that that's going to work in with the mix in the neighborhood?
We see competition as healthy. Competition is always healthy. We are, proud of being Taco Bell. We have no direct competition in terms of the food we serve. We are not selling burgers. We are not selling French fries, right? We are tacos and burritos, and we take pride in being the healthiest fast food chain in America by numerous prestigious establishments, and having received those awards. So we don't see this as that much competition. We see this as actually a facility that town would have for the customers that look to have a drive-through availability to purchase Taco Bell food that they like.
Okay, so let's talk about the benefits of the drive-through from an operational standpoint. Can you share with the board and the public what you and your company perceive as the benefits that one would derive, or the neighborhood would derive, if a drive-through was permitted?
Right. So, going back to saying that we have a location in Paterson. So I would just like to take a few seconds to mention that during pandemic, not having this facility, our business struggled. We were often closed. We had curfews imposed where, drive-through would have been, we would have been open if we had a drive-through facility, but because we did not have that, we were closed. We could not offer hours to our employees. We had to let go of those employees. We could not serve customers, right? As a system, nationally, Taco Bell does 70% of sales through drive-through. And Paterson, as big and as established town as it is, it can definitely use this drive-through facility, Taco Bell restaurant on Broadway, that would add value to the town, to its customers. We are going to provide and employ local 30 plus people. So that's an additional benefit I see to the town.
Well, let's talk about the days and the hours of operation. What would you anticipate as being the days and hours of operation?
So we anticipate opening 7:30 to 8 a.m. for breakfast and close around midnight every day.
Okay, and what type of fare would you offer for the public's consumption? I mean, breakfast, lunch, dinner, how does that work?
So we serve breakfast until 11 o'clock, and then we start serving lunch from 11 to remainder of the day until midnight.
Okay. Now, have you participated at all or given input in or reviewed the site plans that are the subject of tonight's hearing?
Yes, we have had a corporate architect, our own architect and engineering firm look at the plans. They are fit for Taco Bell use. The preliminary plans have been approved by corporate, and they are in the agreement that given that we get an approval for a drive-through, a Taco Bell can be permitted here and would actually, thrive and be very successful.
Now, you mentioned that you work for the particular franchisee that is to be the operator of this store. To what degree does the parent corporation, Taco Bell National, have as it relates to the overview or overseeing or control of the site as relates to operations, to maintenance, and to appearance?
Right, so corporate Taco Bell has set standards and rules on how the operators, as in franchisee that we are, needs to hold the brand image, right? And part of that is being, best on the block. That includes, maintaining landscaping to cleanliness, to friendliness, and serving quality of food, and which I mentioned, one of the healthiest options in fast food space right now. So we have, monthly visits from corporate and ourselves, internal visits to make sure that we are maintaining the property, not only, the building exterior as well as, our food and our service to our customers.
Okay. I don't have anything further of Mr. Shah.
Thank you.
Sorry, any commissioners?
No, I think, Gary? Yeah.
Yeah, Chairman and Commissioners, I have no questions for Mr. Shah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Vega has a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Shaw, how are you?
Very good, sir.
Mr. Vega. So, Broadway Auto Repair Shop, Tire Shop, that area there, that's where you're thinking of putting this Taco Bell's, correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay, so that repair shop is obviously you guys own it now, right?
We are going to be the tenant there. So land is owned by Raymond, and I think Mr. Steve, our attorney, can provide more details on that. But we would be the operating, so it would be a ground lease. We would put up a building there and do the Taco Bell specific fit out to the building and then operate the building. You'll be paying a rent to landlord for the land that we are using.
Okay, so you're not purchasing the land.
Yes.
That's all my questions for now.
Okay.
Any other commissioner?
Commissioner Monaro, Chairman.
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
Mr. Shaw, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
I just have a question for you. The hours you said were going to be up till midnight, correct? From 7 to midnight? Is that 7 days a week as well?
That is 7 days a week, and that is the minimum required corporate hours. And then upon approval of the township or the community we are doing business in, we may decide to extend hours. So if that is the case, we would reach out to you guys, and upon approval, we may consider extending if there is a need or a business opportunity or a consumer demand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner White?
Yes, Commissioner White.
Hi. Regarding the pickup of garbage, I may have missed this, I don't know or not, but will you be having two types of dumpsters, one for regular garbage and one for recycled garbage?
That is correct. As part of our plans, in the far left corner of the building, we have a gated enclosed area where we'll have two containers, one for recycle, one for garbage, and we would have at minimum two bi-weekly pickup frequency. And that could be, extended or added more pickups if needed, given the nature of business.
Okay, also follow-up question. Now, you know that that's a heavy traffic area, and people will come and patronize, I'm quite sure, but then they still litter and, debris will follow, will fall around here and there. Who will be maintaining the cleanup outside of the facility?
We do, ma'am. So we have something called in operations MIC walk, which is manager in charge walk, that is done every 30 minutes to an hour, where manager in charge takes a quick 2-minute walk of the exterior of the building as well as the insides. And if there is any rubbish, any garbage, anything that is that needs attention, we would collect that and dispose it in a proper manner.
Okay, and you did say again that those two dumpsters will be enclosed. Am I correct?
That is correct, ma'am. With a proper gate, yes.
Okay, and the garbage that will be dispersed inside, there will be in bags that are actually closed. They won't be just thrown into a container and then dumped into the dumpster. Because I've seen that with a lot of establishments like food, they don't actually bag and tie the garbage up. They'll just take the barrel out and just dump it into the dumpster. And then when the truck comes to dump it in, the trash flies all over the streets into everybody's area. So,
right.
Just want to make sure that's...
No, that is not the case with us. I've seen that as well, and it is concerning to see that practice being allowed. So we bag all of our garbage and we sort of tie our cardboard. So in the event of a hurricane or a windy day, our cardboards are not, flying around. So we, to answer your question, everything is bagged. There is no loose rubbish or garbage, and cardboards are sort of tied in the enclosure.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question now based on some questions from the commissioners. Mr. Shaw, you said your hours are from 7 a.m. to 12 midnight, right?
That is correct.
When do they make deliveries?
So deliveries are available throughout the business hours. So whenever we are open, 7 a.m. to midnight, deliveries are available. However, we as a business do not deliver. Taco Bell as a corporate has national agreements with Uber Eats and DoorDash. These are delivery aggregators that accept orders on Taco Bell's behalf, and their drivers would just come through a drive-through and take it from a window and then deliver to a customer.
No, you misunderstood. Your supplies, how do they come to your store? There is no spot for loading and unloading. So if you're open 7 to midnight, are they coming after midnight? What I'm trying to say is you're not going to have room.
Yes.
Okay. So when are they coming?
Yeah, my apologies. I misunderstood your question. So we have arrangement with Taco Bell, which is called a key drop delivery. So our delivery vendor would have our alarm ports and keys to the building, and they would come during midnight and before we open to place the delivery in there when there are no cars or no customers in the building.
Okay, and also trash removal. I think there is an ordinance on how early you can start, so or pick up. So unless they're coming after midnight as well, you have to attend to that so that it is not at the same time as business hours, because the parking area is small and it would be hard to maneuver. You understand that? Okay.
I understand that, sir, from operations perspective, and we would tie up with a local trash pickup vendor who would be able to, accommodate those hours of pickup.
Okay. All right. That's all I have, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Gary took my questions, but it's okay.
Okay, Commissioner Vega.
But I wanted to ask, I don't have a plans. I can't see the plans. I don't know if they're gonna go through the plans so I could see how the driveway is gonna work. I don't have that with me, so I hope that...
I'm sure the engineer will share it, but when he comes out.
Okay. That's it.
Any other commissioners? Okay. Can bring your next witness.
Very good.
1 second, Mark, do we have anyone from the public?
Yeah, let me check if we have anybody from the public. To the members of the public, if you have questions of this witness, please call 973-321-1579, and when prompted to, enter the meeting ID number 711 680-001. Once again, 973-321-1579, meeting ID number 711-680-001. And this is just to ask questions with regard to the testimony you just heard. Let's give it a moment. Do we have any callers?
Is Maggie on?
Is anyone from IT on? Maggie, are you on?
Mr. Chairman, Marco, I would suggest continuing, and if there is someone, we can bring them on.
Try again.
No, just continue, I'm gonna call.
Okay, shall we proceed?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Shaw, I ask you to hang around just in case any questions do come.
1 second.
Don't worry about it, I just got word from IT, there are no callers, we can move forward.
Okay, very
Thank you,
good.
Marco.
Hang around anyway. Okay, well, our next witness is the project engineer, Bauman Isidamare. Forgive me, Bauman, I'm not very good at names. You're gonna have to give me grace.
Sure.
Bauman is a professional engineer. He's very familiar with the plans since he prepared them. So I'm gonna ask him to be sworn and then place his credentials on the record.
Good evening, Mr. Azadamir. Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Good evening.
Good evening. State your full name for the record, please.
Yeah, Baman Izadmer. The last name is spelled Izadmeher. I'm principal of development engineering, and I have prepared the site plan that we will be presenting tonight before the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Bauman, could you please just briefly state your credentials on the record so the board can qualify you as?
Sure. I'll make it simple. I have appeared before this board many times in the past, but I have a degree, an undergraduate and 2 graduate degrees in civil engineering from University of Texas, Austin. I have been a professional engineer in the state of New Jersey since 1990. My license is in effect and current.
Okay. Thank you. We accept your credential.
Thank you.
Very good. All right, Bauman, forgive me for calling you by your first name. I hope
that's all right.
Good. Bauman, you prepared the plans that are subject to tonight's hearing. Are they based upon a current survey of the property?
Yes.
Okay. So why don't you talk about the existing conditions based on the survey and your familiarity with the site, and then tell us what it is we're proposing to do so the board and the public can understand the nature and the scope of the project.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can share this. I have some audio issue, so bear with me. Okay, can everyone see the site plan?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Steve, I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us about the existing conditions? Do you have a sheet in the plan set that shows what's there today?
Yes, we do. If you look at the very last page, I don't know the number. Let me just look at the number here. But it's sheet number 5. So if you look at that sheet.
Excuse me, Mr. Izadmer, can you just give the latest revision date of the plans that you're showing to everyone? I want to make sure that I'm looking at them and I have the latest ones as well. So can you do?
Yes, I could. These drawings are dated February 19, 2022.
Okay, that's your last revision. Thank you.
That's correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So as the drawing sheet number 5 shows, there is an existing building at the site, and this building basically has two frontages or two facades. One is facing Broadway, and the other one is facing East 18th Street. So the one which is facing Broadway currently is being used as a mechanic shop, as a repair shop. And the one facing, basically the portion of the building facing East 18th Street is being used as a taxi cab or a taxi parking or taxi cab depot. And the site is currently 100% impervious, is paved with asphalt, and has basically one big driveway off of Broadway, and the entire frontage on East 18th Street is curb cut and a driveway. So the taxis could basically exit at any point along East 18th Street. So the plan is to demolish this building at the site and then construct a brand new drive-through Taco Bell. Shown on first page, drawing number 1. And I'll just go over the detail of the site plan. So our building is positioned to be parallel to East 18th Street and sort of parallel also to Broadway. So you enter the facility only from Broadway by either making a left turn or a right turn, and then you will come to a parking lot, and you can basically park down at 90 degrees toward the building or on the west side of the site, or you can do 3 parallel parking spaces. You can occupy one of those 3 parallel parking spaces on the east side of the property, or you could basically continue proceeding to the back of the property and making a left turn and going through the drive-through. If you decide not to go through a drive-through, there is also a 11-foot bypass lane, basically bringing you to the second driveway off of East 18th Street. But as per county approval, that driveway is only limited to right turn exit only. So once you enter the facility, if you go through the drive-through, then you will come to a menu board. So you will basically order your food, and then you will proceed going alongside East 18th Street, parallel to East 18th Street, south to the pickup window, which is all the way at the corner, at the front corner of the building. So the drive-through basically has a capacity of at least 8 without cutting any parking spots. Now, I just want to also add that the way we have laid out the parking, we are providing almost 30 feet aisle width. So that 30 feet will be wide enough to carry 3 lanes. But of course, you will have cars getting in and cars getting out from the parking lot. And at the same time, you could have another lane of drive-through cars alongside the parking aisle. So if we consider that scenario, we are increasing the capacity of the drive-through to about 12 to 13. So this is a pretty good layout in the sense that you have to go all around the property, and that will create basically a better design for a drive-through. Now,
excuse me, Mr. Zamir, you can't have 3-way lane.
No.
That doesn't work. Maybe I misunderstood your testimony, but
no, obviously you will not have 3-lane traffic, but what I'm saying is that there is enough room for a car to pass by. So
You mean, are you talking about exit from the drive-through? Is that what you're saying?
no. I'm talking about entering the drive-through. That drive-through lane, which goes around the building, is only wide enough for one car.
Right.
Basically, once you go through the drive-through, before you make a left turn to go southbound along East 18, you can't change your mind. Once you are in the drive-through, you have already ordered your food, so you have to pick it up. But if you, let's say, change your mind right by the menu window, or menu board rather, then you could basically move to the right and then exit the drive-through.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
I'm sorry about my mis-explanation of the operation.
But now, Bob, I want to ask you a few questions.
Sure.
The zoning ordinance requires no more than a 5-foot front yard setback. Now, you're proposing setbacks of 17 feet and 26 feet. Is that fair to say?
That's correct. Yeah, the zoning basically provides 5-foot maximum setbacks.
No, that's Mr. Shepis and Zamir.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mr. Williams will address that.
Sure.
You're using bulk requirements in a zone that does not allow what you're proposing. So the bulk requirements
That's correct.
that you need to use are the C2 requirements in the 4th Ward. The 4th Ward TOD district does not allow drive-through, so you need to use bulk requirements that allow a drive-through. Fortunately, you have one in the 4th Ward, which is the C2 zone. So there is no 5-foot maximum. If they're to accept the use, they have to accept the bulk requirements on the use that you're proposing.
Exactly.
There is no, okay, so there is no 5-foot maximum setback, Mr. Shepis. I would leave those variances to Mr. Williams. I think he knows where I'm going, and I'm sure he'll address them.
That's correct. Correct.
Well, Bob, isn't it fair to say that the necessity of the setback is driven, no pun intended, by the drive-through aisle?
That's correct. And also by providing landscaping.
Okay, so let's talk about the landscaping. Where's your landscaping?
Yeah, we wanted to provide landscaping all around the building. So that's why we have a substantial strip of landscaping in front of the building on Broadway.
Do you have a landscape plan in this set?
Yes, we do.
Why don't you roll to that plan?
Yeah, I'm going to roll to that plan, and then we have as well as lighting plan. So
I think you passed it.
yeah, I passed it. Where is it? Here we go. This plan, which is sheet number 3, I believe, shows our landscaping. As you can see, we have not, of course, filled out all the landscaping areas. We have left it to basically the landscape architect of Taco Bell. But if you can follow my cursor, this whole area is all landscaping. Basically, everything between the two curbs, the curbs behind the sidewalk, and the curb basically delineating the drive-through lane all the way up to this driveway. So basically, the perimeter of the site is all landscaped except where the driveways, the two driveways are.
Now, Bob, I noted on the original survey that the building that's on the property now is right on the property line to the property to the north, to behind us, correct?
That's correct, yeah. Basically, the two sides of the building are directly on the property lines, on the north side and the east side.
Now, there was a question by one of the commissioners as relates to the removal of trash and recyclables. Could you show us with your cursor how you would anticipate a trash truck coming into the site, picking up the trash and then and recyclables and removing them from the property?
Yeah, so the trash trucks will come in on Broadway. Either they will make a right turn, if you could follow my cursor, or they could make a left turn into the driveway. Again, this will be happening as Gary just indicated after closing or before opening. And then they will proceed through that 29 feet aisle, which is wide enough, and then they will go into the drive-through lanes and bypass lane. Either depending on the type of truck we're using to remove the trash, either the front loader or the rear loader. So either way, they could just go to the trash enclosure. Again, this is a gated trash enclosure area. And then the trash enclosures are within this area. So the trash compartments will have heavy-duty steel gates that they will open, and then the trash could be picked up by the truck, and the truck will exit through East 18th Street. Or the trucks could also turn around and exit through Broadway. So the trash truck has basically two options. One is it picks up. The only thing is that they cannot use East 18th Street to enter the site. They have to use Broadway to enter the site. But once they have entered and picked up the trash, then they have two options, either to go back on Broadway or exit from East 18th Street.
Now, you note on this plan that you have 8 on-site parking spaces. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I was going to mention that. Now, the parking spaces now, I have to figure out based on that B2 zone that Gary just mentioned. But if we use TOD, the transit-oriented district, they require basically 1 parking per 8 seats. So if that's the case, then we only need 2 parking spaces. But if we follow the B2 zone, we still have more than required parking spaces. We are providing 8 parking spaces.
Mr. Izamir, it is the C2, C as in Charles, C2 zone, and the restaurants is 1 space for 4 seats, and that is not a variance. There is no parking variance.
So we have 10 seats, so we need 2.5, let's say 3. So we are providing 8 spaces. Okay, but I thought it was the B2, so it's a C2. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
That's okay.
All right.
Now, Bauman, just so everybody can understand, in your professional opinion, can you tell us whether or not the site will function properly as relates to people coming in, if they're going to go in the building to park, employees to park, and then, of course, the flow of the drive-through?
Sure.
How does the layout comport with suitable design standards as relates to functionality?
Yeah, I mean, this site is pretty good size site for a drive-through, for a neighborhood, I should say, neighborhood drive-through Taco Bell. This Taco Bell is going to basically serve the immediate neighborhood or the city of Paterson at large. And it's not going to be basically a destination Taco Bell that you would see on highways, such as Route 20, Route 21, let's say Route 3, Route 46, within the area. So this will be basically destined for the residents and the visitors of city of Paterson and the neighborhood. So keeping that in mind, we have 8 parking spaces, including 1 handicap space, which is, again, almost 3 times as what is required by the code. And then the size of the building, the Taco Bell building, it's quite small. Actually, it's about almost 1,700 square foot, including the kitchen, the bathrooms. So the net area is not going to be more than 600, 500, the sitting area. So, and there will be only 10 spaces within the Taco Bell. So with that in mind, it is a very good balance between people walking in or parking to dine in or basically using the drive-through. Now, the drive-through, of course, have been a big help during this pandemic, and now people are used to it. So most likely they're going to use it a lot. And the design is really nice because you come in here far away from the intersection, you enter the site all the way at the easterly end of the site, and you go through the drive-through and you make a left, and you have the opportunity to basically change your mind and use the bypass lane and exit. Or if you decide to stay, so you will order and then you have to go pick up your food. And there is sufficient queuing distance before you can pick up your food. So there will be really no congestion, no on-site congestion, or no congestion on the streets. And also, if I may add, in terms of traffic, 60% of the customers are what we call pass-by. It meaning that they are already on the road. They're either going from work to home, or from work, or from home to work, or from work to home, or they're basically going to run some errands. And on the way, they stop at this site and pick up a taco or a burrito. So 60% of the traffic that are going to be coming to use this facility, either by dining in or checking out, are going to be basically already on the road. So they're not going to be added to the new traffic. And at this particular site, if you use ITE, Institute of Transportation Engineers Handbook for trip generation, it only generates 12 vehicles or 12 trips during the peak hour, afternoon peak hour or evening peak hour. So 12 is basically nominal. And out of those 12, as I said, 60%, like 7, are already on the road. So this particular site will generate 5. Now, there were a question earlier about healthy competition between this particular establishment and the neighboring KFC and McDonald's. So if, let's say, people now have a choice, if prior to this Taco Bell, if they had only 2 choices between hamburger and fried chicken, now they have 3 choices. So this may even attract some of those vehicles from their side. So if you count those, then this basically only will generate about 3 or 4 cars during the peak hour.
Bob, and I have a question for you. You testified initially that the site is 100% impervious covered, building and pavement. To what number are you reducing that based on the plan that we see here on the screen?
To a little bit over 80%. Let me just read that so that I could give you an exact number. It's 80.4%. So we are actually improving the impervious area of the site. We are reducing it from 99.9% to 80.4% because of all those landscaping that we are introducing in the perimeter of the site. So we have a 5-foot buffer between the north end of the site and the neighboring driveway. There is a
Mr. Izadmir,
Sure.
In the C2 zone, and again, Mr. Williams will address that, but the maximum building coverage is 80%. The maximum impervious coverage is 100%. There are no variances here.
Yeah, there is.
So maybe we could cut to the chase a little bit. You're going over,
Thank you very much.
we're going over stuff that is not an issue,
I'll rein them in.
And Mr. Williams is going to cover that, I'm sure, so please.
All right, thank you, Gary.
Bob, just a couple more quick questions.
Sure.
You had mentioned earlier about the county. Now, I seem to recall that East 18th Street is a county road.
That's correct.
Now, has this plan been vetted and approved by the Passaic County Planning Board?
Yes, it has.
Okay, now, was the plan modified to address their comments and concerns? And if so, tell us what you've incorporated in for their concerns.
We have already rectified that situation with them. The reason, for example, this drive-through lane has a little jog in it because we were trying to provide a stopping position for the cars exiting. So the county wanted 10-foot separation between this driveway and the neighboring property to the north. So we had to basically move the driveway down solidly by 10 feet. Actually, we had 5 feet, but we had to do it 10 feet. So that was one change. And then as a result of that change, basically, we had to create this. Actually, it turned out to be very nice because this will also slow down the cars and will provide more space for the exiting cars. So we did that, and also they restricted our driveway to only exiting right turn. So you can enter from here, and you cannot make a left.
Okay, and based upon that, did the county approve this plan?
Yes.
Okay, now one other question I have, and then I'm gonna be finished. Initially, there was a comment relative to the length of the parallel spaces. I believe you initially provided 21 foot in length. Can you
Yeah.
tell us if you can accommodate the required 22 feet?
Sure. I mean, the reason, Gary, we used 21 because the national standards have changed. The 22 used to be from 50, 60 years ago, maybe even more than that. So now it's 21. But if we want to comply with your ordinance, we can make this island here smaller, or we can push this chair down to the south by another 3 feet, which will be again parallel to the exiting traffic from drive-through.
I was going to suggest something,
Yeah.
since the parallel parking is a little bit more difficult for people, maybe that should be labeled employee parking. Those
Okay.
3 spots. If it's all right with Mr. Shaw, I think that would work better because people tend to have problems, parallel parking. And at least the employees will be there first and they could park there. And if you label it employee parking, I think the plan works better and the 21 feet will not matter then. And I would have no issue with that.
Exactly. I agree with you.
Is that okay, Mr. Shaw? Are you out there? You still with us? Did you sneeze? Are you there, Mr. Shaw? Well, I got a text from Mr. Shaw, so he must be listening somewhere. He did say he accepts that, so we agreed to that condition. So
Yeah, that would make parking easier for everyone.
Sure.
Now, Bauman, if you could just take us to the architectural plans, I believe they were part of your set, so if you could just show everybody the building.
Yeah, and also I want to talk about signs too.
Yeah, when you're there, talk about the sign.
Yeah. We
I'm
are
not going to ask you any more questions.
Okay, great. I'm going to talk about signs. We are proposing a freestanding sign. And now Gary had an excellent point about C2 zone. I'm not sure if the sign is permitted in C2 or not, but the reason we were asking for a variance because we were following the TOD zone. So in a TOD zone, a freestanding sign is not permitted. So that's one sign which is right here at the corner, at this corner right here. This is the sign we are proposing in the landscaped area. And then we have also a set of signs on the East 18th front of the building, facade of the building, as well as on the Broadway facade of the building. And then we have another set of signs, wall signs, above the door, the entry door, at this corner. So basically we have 3 wall signs and 1 freestanding signs. So again, I will revise the drawings to follow the C2 basically criteria. So in terms of the architectural drawing, unfortunately I didn't open that, but I can open that and show you the architectural drawings. So give me a minute, please. Or you want to, I just want to make a suggestion. Maybe you should bring our planner till I look at the architectural drawings, and then I could share it with the board and the public to save time.
We'll actually wait because the planner, our planner and some of the commissioner might have questions for you.
Oh, okay.
Are we going to go into questions, Mr. Chairman?
As soon as he's ready, we can go.
Okay. Mr. Izamir, are you complete?
I'm complete. I'm just going to open the architectural drawings.
Oh, okay. Mr. Chairman, if we could bring up the engineering drawing, page 1, I can ask, I only have a few questions for the engineer, and then you could go to the commissioners, but we could at least take care of that in the public if Mr. Izagir puts up that sheet 1.
Yeah, sure. We can do
Site
that.
plan. If he puts it back, I can ask some questions in the.
Okay, then we'll go back to him then.
Yes, I have the architectural drawings. I will share it with you now. Okay, and sorry, I just wanted to make sure I have the correct ones.
Okay.
Yeah, don't show the Burger King ones.
Yeah. Okay, now we share the screen. Okay.
Yeah.
So can everyone see the architectural drawings?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you zoom in a little?
I'm sorry?
Can you zoom into the page a little?
Sure, sure.
Looks like McDonald's.
Oh boy, I'm in trouble. So this is the architectural drawings. This is basically facing the parking lot. So it shows the Taco Bell sign above the entry door. So this is basically, again, if you are standing and looking at the building toward the west, or this is the east facade of the building. Any questions before I move on to other renderings?
Move on to the floor plan.
Okay. And this is the other side, of course, and this is the side facing East 18th Street. And these are, again, the northerly and the southerly. And this is the layout of the building, the floor plan.
Yeah, zoom in on that a little before the commissioners, Mr. Designer.
So, can everyone see this now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I can go over it very quickly. If you look at this end here, where my cursor is, this is the cooler and the freezer, and this is the office for the manager of the Taco Bell, and all the utilities are here in this area, and this is the dry storage, and this is the handicap bathroom here at this corner, and this is the entry door. So we specifically put the bathroom right next to the entry door. So if you come in and you have to go wash your hands or use the bathroom, you can immediately go there before going into the main area of the dining. And then this is the dining area here in the front of the building, facing Broadway. So as you can see, we have 8 seats, or 10 seats rather, I'm sorry. And this is the pickup window for the drive-through. And then these are all the kitchen stuff, basically the workstations. And this is basically where you would order your food here. This is the menu all the way on the north side. So if there are any questions, by all means, I would be more than glad to answer.
Yeah.
Yes, if you could put up sheet 1, the site plan, that's where my questions will.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the suggestion for the parking, for the employee parking, if you could label that for the city, that'd be great. Now, if you go,
Yeah.
okay, if you go further north
Yes.
to the exit going toward East 18th Street.
Yes.
Okay.
This one.
Keep coming down. All right. I have a plan where you show the curb, and you have a dimension on the curb, 590 to the property line.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the other one. Let me
Yeah. Go ahead, open that one.
Yeah.
Because this is not the right one because you have to move the exit down further.
So if I,
It was the one dated,
22, February, this one here. So let me share this now. Okay. Go ahead.
okay, yeah, now, okay.
Right there.
Yes,
They're right there.
zoom in a little, okay. All the commissioners, do you see the 5'9", from the curb to the property line?
Right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know that the exit is 10 feet from the property line, but is it possible, a suggestion, to move that curbing 3 feet north? Just to give more swing room for bigger vehicles that are exiting onto
Yes, we can.
18.
We can
Yeah.
basically, Gary, continue this 10-foot radius and just follow the cursor, you see?
Yes, yeah, you know why? It would give more room. You see where your last car queued is?
Sure.
If there's a bigger vehicle, a bigger SUV or something,
Yes.
or even some sort of box truck that happened to drop off something, a delivery. At least if they exit, they can exit a little bit easier. So I would suggest you just, I know the exit has to stay there, but if you move that curb a little north, you would give a little bit more maneuverability to cars exiting, larger cars or vehicles exiting onto East 18th Street.
Yeah, I will push it out by another 2.9 feet.
That's perfect, that's perfect.
Yeah, make it 3 feet.
Okay, so that is one revision. The revision showing employee parking for those 3 parallel spaces.
Yes.
And since you put the zoning chart on the on your plan, I'm just going to go over the variances. I know Mr. Williams will address them, but I have, well, one is the use because it's not permitted in the 4th Ward TOZ zone.
Yes.
And 3 variances I have. One is freestanding signs are not permitted, and one is proposed.
Yes.
And the maximum sign number is 2 and 3 are proposed.
That's correct.
Now, I had parallel parking 22 feet, but I'm taking that off the chart because if it's employee parking, we're going to be covered. So I have just the 3 variances that Mr. Williams will address.
Yes.
And so all you need to do is change your zoning chart to show those variances and those 2 suggestions, and I am fine. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman, for Mr. Izadner.
Thank you, Gary, for your suggestions.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for,
Yes, Commissioner Vega.
Okay, so my first question would be, obviously you addressed the garbage issue is gonna be closed, which is great. The lighting, I saw you have some lights there. Are you gonna be, obviously have some, parking lights?
That's correct.
Okay. The security, are you gonna have any cameras in this building?
I assume so, yes. But again,
It's not, I don't see it,
no, we don't normally show the cameras on the site plan. We show them on the construction drawings for
Okay.
building permits.
Understood.
Yes.
And the other thing is, you guys practice of having one bathroom in the whole building?
Yeah, because we only have 10 seats, and we thought one bathroom would be sufficient. But I mean, the floor plan is flexible. For example, they could also include a bathroom for the employees within the kitchen area.
I figured that would be ideal since, you know.
Yeah, we will add another bathroom in the kitchen area for the employees. So this bathroom will be just for the customers.
Yes, I think that would be nice to do.
Okay. In terms of the lighting, if you look at this lighting plan with landscaping, we have a parking area lighting here on this island across from the drive-through island. We have a second one here. And then we have several lights on the building itself. And we have one more area lighting here in the middle, and then another one by the driveway, by the main drive. And then, of course, the sign will be also LED. Yes.
Yes, it's the mayor. Also, what type of is this going to be like? You can order. Is it going to be enclosed, or is it going to be have like a panel, a wall between the who orders? How can I say this? A security, a spit guard, or something like that.
You mean at the menu?
Yes.
Yes.
The order.
There will be some sort of a privacy protection panels, basically extending from the menu itself. So when you come closer to the menu itself, you will roll your window down, of course, and then order the food. Is that what you mean, or?
Yes. Well, listen. Broadway is. I know that area very well. It's a very, a little complicated sometimes, but this is actually going to be good for this corner property here.
Yeah.
It's actually going to work out because if you put the lights, this will change the whole look in that little corner there.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Okay,
there will be sufficient lighting. As a matter of fact, we also have a area lighting here next to the menu, so it will be completely lit.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Commissioner White?
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner White.
Thank you. Regarding the bathroom, the one bathroom, as you know, there's a lot of traffic on Broadway, some undesired traffic, you can say. And with that one bathroom, just knowing from other establishments that are in the area,
yes,
sometimes vagrants will kind of occupy that one bathroom. So how are you going to maintain that when you have people that are probably patrons that are inside with children trying to use the bathroom when you have activity in the bathroom and they can't get in? And so how are you going to try to curtail that?
Ms. White, that was one of my questions. They're actually going to add a bathroom.
We're gonna add a second bathroom, but most likely that second bathroom will be both for the scenarios that Commissioner you just explained, as well as for the employees. And also the bathroom will be controlled, I guess, by combination codes, only for the customers, or only for the people that could get the combination code from the employees of Taco Bell.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was looking for, because I know without that, anyone, other, the people that would come off the street, exactly. I know how it's been happening on, a couple of those establishments that they'll go in and they'll do whatever.
Yes.
You know where I'm going with that. Yeah. So,
There will be definitely combination code controlled.
Okay.
Commissioner Baralt?
Well, 1 second, Commissioner Burrell. Commissioner White's have the floor.
This is another one, please, if you don't mind. I just wanted to get confirmation on the parking spaces. It was actually 8, and of the 8, 1 is going to be handicapped, right? Mm-hmm. A handicapped parking space. And then are 3 of those 8 also going to be assigned to the employees on that diagonal?
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry. Could you repeat that question again, Commissioner?
The number of parking spaces, is it going to be 8, with 1 of those 8 being dedicated to a handicap space?
That's correct.
And then 3 of those are going to be dedicated to the employees?
Well, I'm going to basically make them 22 feet anyway, but I'm not sure if all the employees will have cars. Just in case if they don't have any cars, then the middle spot or one of the spots could be available also for the customers.
Okay, well then, I know, Gary, you did mention that you wanted them to actually mark for employees only. So how many are we marking for the employees only?
Well, Commissioner, the reason I said that is because by the code in the C2 zone in the 4th Ward, they need 1 space for every 4 seats. So they only need 3 spaces. So they have 5 spaces, 4 spaces and 1 handicap for the customer. So there is no parking variance. So I just assumed that it would be easier because it's harder for even elderly people to parallel park. So I just I suggested that the parallel spaces be for employees, since they need 3 employees at a maximum on a shift. So all 3 employees would take the parallel spaces and make it easy for people to go in and out. That was my, my theory.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
I agree.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Burrell.
Yes, this question is for Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
In the matter of security, are you going to have manned security at this place? Because that area is it's kind of a tricky area to hang around and to travel by. If I know the area, 18th Street on Broadway.
Sure.
So question is, are you going to have manned security to protect the patrons that go into your establishment?
I know it's been done in other locations, but I'm not really sure about this particular location. So I think that I would refer that question to Mr. Shah, the operations manager. And if you could get him back here to answer your question.
Yes, Mr. Shaw, would you kindly answer this question?
Mr. Barat, I think he was. Might be there.
Yes, I would just request for the question to be repeated. I'm sorry.
And the question of security, I asked the question about whether you're going to have manned security in this area to protect your patrons that go into your establishment.
So, sir, normally, even though we are open till midnight, our lobbies are closed early. So as early as 9:30 or 10 o'clock, our lobbies would close and it would be drive-through accessibility only. If in instances, for example, we have a restaurant in Hoboken which has bar area and people after having drinks not behaving right, we do have a security personnel present at that location for those hours. So if needed, we would 100% do needful to have that, but it is not something that we normally do. It is on need-based circumstances.
So you need to have basis. I guess when you're operating, you'll decide that at that time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Burrell. Any other commissioners? Marco, can you check if we have anyone from the public?
Yes. To the members of the public, if you have questions of this witness, please call 973-321-1579 and enter meeting ID number 711-680-001. You could ask any questions with regard to the testimony you heard. I'm going to check with IT and see if we have any callers. Why don't we proceed, and if there are any callers, we'll interrupt. But at this time, I don't see any.
Okay, very good. Our final witness is George Wheaton Williams. Mr. Williams is a licensed professional planner, and he's here this evening to provide planning testimony to the board in support of the application. Mr. Williams, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Very good.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I most certainly do.
State your full name for the record.
Good evening, Madam Court Reporter, Commissioners. My name is George Wheaton Williams, representing the Nishwain Group, located at 105 Grove Street, Suite number 3 in Montclair, New Jersey.
Very nice. Mr. Williams, would you please state your credentials on the record, even if it's brief?
Certainly. I'm licensed by the state of New Jersey as a professional planner. I'm also nationally certified by the American Institute of Certified Planners. I've been practicing in the field of professional planning for over 35 years, with a particular focus on land use, of course, as well as economic development and other planning specialities. And I've had the fortune of appearing before this board on numerous occasions.
Okay, we accept your credential.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Mr. Williams, would you be so kind as to share with us the information that you've developed in conjunction with this application in support of the application and the variances?
Certainly. Yes. Few things for the record, then I'll get into a description of the property and the requisite proofs for the release we're seeking. Again, this is property commonly known as 443 Broadway. It's located or identified by the municipal tax records as block number 3510, lot number 3. It is an irregularly shaped corner lot, and you heard from prior witness about the frontages on East 18th as well as Broadway. It's approximately 13,537 square feet and located in what has been referenced by your board planner as a transit-oriented development zone district in the 4th Ward redevelopment area. As you've heard, we are seeking several reliefs, and I would agree with your board planner's recitation of those reliefs. In summary, they are the D1 use variance for the restaurant with a drive-through. You heard council mention earlier on that while restaurants are permitted, it is a drive-through portion or component of that use that is not permitted in the TOD zone. There are also a couple of bulk and area deviations. Your board planner did counsel that, oh, excuse me, 1 second, my screen went blank. Bear with me 1 second, I'm coming back. That under one of the court cases, it's advised that boards look at a comparative zoning analysis so they see the bulk and area standards of the zone district in which the use is proposed, as well as, if they exist, the bulk and area standards of the zone district which would permit the use. And as you've heard in the discussions earlier, that zone would be the C2 zone district of the 4th Ward redevelopment area. So I won't repeat those reliefs. I think they were captured by your board planner. Again, I would agree with his recitation of those reliefs. We provided the zone table with the TOD bulk and area standards, and we will submit a revised zoning table that includes the C2 zoning table or standards. So it's the use variance and the signage. Very quickly, in terms of the general planning issues or observations, I have been to the site on several occasions, most recently yesterday, just to do a field verification. I'll share an exhibit, but as this board knows, this is a site that is currently unsightly and has a number of negative aspects that were captured by our civil engineer, including the way the properties are used, the impervious coverage, and the curb cuts or lack thereof that make the site less than appealing and certainly does not advance the purposes of your master plan or redevelopment plan. If you were to approve our application, however, it's my professional opinion as a planner that you would not only beautify this section of Broadway, but you would rectify some of the issues or aspects of the current site that give it its blighting character. And Bauman went over the fact that there would be an introduction of landscaping where none exists, introduction of quality lighting or lighting plan, which would enhance not only the site, but the surrounding area, more appropriate curb cut layout as described by Bauman, and almost a 20% reduction in impervious surface, which is part and parcel of the introduction of the landscaping. With that, before I get into the recitation, the proofs, I'd just like to share our exhibit, which is a series of photographs taken by I and my staff of the site and the surrounding area. Second. And commissioners, this is just to give context for the remainder of my testimony and highlight some of what's been mentioned already. Does this have to be marked, Mr. Rocca?
Why don't we mark it as A1? Virtual.
Done. All right, commissioners, moving through this hopefully pretty quickly. The first image is on slide number 2, just to identify our property in the context of the surrounding area. Our property is identified in the yellow highlighting. And what you immediately notice are a couple of things. First, it is an irregularly shaped lot, which it lends itself in an odd way to the drive-through plan that Bauman presented a moment ago. It has its frontages, as I mentioned earlier, on Broadway and East 18th, and has a boundary, which is the rail line. The next slide is just a capture from the redevelopment plan showing our zone district. Our property in this case is identified with the word site and highlighted in a lighter shaded blue, just confirming that we are in the TOD district, but very close to the general commercial district. The next slide, and this is where I think the picture is worth 1,000 words. This is the existing site condition, and you can see it's a hodgepodge of vehicles parked on the site with the extremely expansive curb cuts that our civil engineer mentioned a few moments ago. There is a freestanding sign on the property now.
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Yes.
You probably have about 950 more of those 1,000 words you gotta get out. It's gonna take 1 second. Chairman,
Yes.
we do have a caller, but we've ascertained that the call is not specific to the last witness. It's for general comments at the end. Having said that, the secretary has lost service, so she's on and off. Talking to IT, my request is that we add this individual to the meeting as a participant, but we'll have IT mute the person until the end.
Yes, that's fine.
Questions of this witness, and then we'll address them at the end. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine. We can do that. Just have them on mute.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that, Mr. Williams.
No worries. With this slide, of course, any improvement to the site would be a benefit to the surrounding area. And I would submit that what we're proposing will be a substantial improvement, not only to the site, but also to the area. We noted that although drive-through services are not permitted in the zone, there are several existing quick serve restaurants with drive-through service. So if you, as you look at these pictures, and you're aware of them already, I know, it will lend credence to my argument about the negative criteria, in as much as if you were to approve our application, there would be certainly no substantial detriment to the public good, because in large part, this particular section of Broadway already includes several restaurants with that same service. And our counsel mentioned that in his introductory comments. This is the final use with the drive-through service. It's the Walgreens. It was also mentioned by counsel in his introductory comments. It is also in the TOD. And so these are just the pictures to give you a framework for discussion, both about the affirmative or positive criteria for our use variance and the negative criteria. And you'll hear me say perhaps more than once that if you were to approve this application, there would be several positive attributes. And in terms of the negative criteria, there's certainly no substantial detriment to the public good or impairment to the zone plan. I would just note in this picture, slide number 8 captures a number of freestanding signs in the immediate vicinity. And as you heard our civil engineer testify, what's proposed on our site is much more context sensitive in terms of its dimensions and its location. Commissioners, that's it for my brief exhibit. If there are no questions, I will take this exhibit down.
Yeah, I have one question for procedures. These photographs were taken recently, and do they fairly and accurately reflect the conditions that exist at the premises, subject to the application surrounding neighborhood as you described on the sheet?
Yes, they do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gary, do you have any questions?
Not, Jenny, no.
Any commissioners?
Wait, these are just not the photos, right? Yes, okay.
Any commissioners have any questions regarding these photos?
Yeah, they look horrible, but no. Let's fix it.
We know the area is true. That's the way they look.
Okay, thank you. All right, you can continue, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioners. As this board knows, for the approval of a D1 use variance, we have to demonstrate both the positive and the negative criteria. As you know, the positive criteria are established by showing A, that the use is inherently beneficial. We're not making that argument here, although we all love Taco Bell. That the approval would advance the purposes of zoning, and I will share several purposes of zoning that would be advanced if you were to approve our application. That the use is particularly suitable for the site, and you will hear my testimony saying that it is particularly suitable for the site for a variety of reasons. And last but not least, if you were to deny our application, that would constitute a hardship, undue hardship. All of that has to be balanced with the negative criteria. As you know, the negative criteria is a two-pronged test. The first prong is that if you were to grant our relief to permit the restaurant with the drive-through service, there would be no substantial detriment to the public good. And that means that the neighborhood character would not be substantially harmed or changed. And that word substantial comes directly from the municipal land use law. The second prong, as you know, is that if you were to approve our application, there would be no substantial impairment to the zone plan, which is your land use element of the master plan and the zoning ordinance. In my professional opinion, in summary, there are significant or sufficient positive and negative criteria for this board to approve the application. And again, the big umbrella picture is the improvement to the site not only benefits Taco Bell, the applicant, but makes a significant improvement to the surrounding area in this section of Broadway. So with that, I'll begin with the D1 positive criteria. In my professional opinion, if you were to grant this relief, the following purposes of the Zoning Act would be advanced. The first is subsection A, and I'll read it, quote, to encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use or development of all lands in the state in a manner which will promote health, safety, morals, and general welfare. From a planning perspective, if you were to grant this relief, in my opinion, the removal of the blight in and of itself would advance the general welfare. The enhanced safety that would be realized if you were to grant our application because of Bauman's layout, it would also benefit or advance safety and general welfare. Again, anytime the removal of blight occurs, particularly in a redevelopment area, which advances the intent and purpose of redevelopment planning, that also would advance the general welfare. Subsection G, to provide sufficient space and appropriate locations for a variety of agricultural, residential, recreational, commercial, and industrial uses, both public and private, according to their respective needs, environmental requirements, in order to meet the needs of all New Jersey citizens. This also would be applicable, in my opinion, because, as I mentioned, the current land development pattern along Broadway lends itself to the drive-through service, as evidenced by the existing quick-serve restaurants in the immediate vicinity that have the same service. Finally, subsection I, Commissioners, to promote a desirable visual environment through good civic design. It's a two-part purpose, in my opinion. There's first the aesthetic, if you will, the visual environment, and I would submit to the board that if you approved our application, there would be a significant improvement to the visual environment. And that's why I shared those pictures earlier on, demonstrating the conditions as they exist now and how they have a deleterious effect on the visual environment as opposed to what we would promote. Finally, the second part of section I is the good civic design. And in my opinion, based on the plans prepared by our civil engineer, the layout is intended to make the site work, making on-site maneuverability improved and appropriate, particularly with the acceptance of the suggestions from your board planner that, in our opinion, actually makes the site work even better and more safely. In terms of particular suitability, I won't belabor that there are a couple of court cases that give guidance for suitability, and that's the most current one would be the Price v. Himeji case, and it suggests that if the site is can be designed to work for the use and the use is appropriate, that you can find particular suitability. In my opinion, the site is particularly suitable for this use, given its irregular shape, given its two frontages, and its location on Broadway. And finally, Mr. Bauman's testimony about the traffic and circulation and how that works. Those would be the positive criteria in my professional opinion. The negative criteria, the first problem would be, and I alluded to this earlier on, if you were to grant our relief, in my opinion, there would be no substantial detriment to the public good. In fact, I would argue to the board that you'll actually have a benefit to the public good by the removal of the blighted condition and the introduction of a very well-designed, well-landscaped, well-illuminated site that actually comports with the existing land development pattern in the area. In terms of the second prong, in my opinion, there'd be no substantial impairment to the zone plan. Both your master plan and redevelopment plan goals and objectives would be advanced. There are several goals and objectives in your master plan that would be advanced, and in particular, when it comes to economic development. And I'll just go through a couple, but there are many. Land use objective 1D, encourage mixing of compatible uses. In my opinion, what is being proposed is compatible with the other uses in the area. Land use goal number 2, to address the problems associated with vacant and abandoned properties. I'm going to take a little license with this. The property is not vacant or abandoned, but it would the approval of our application would, of course, remove the blighting condition of the site. There are several economic development objectives that would be advanced. I won't go through them all, but certainly it suggests that this type of use on this type of street, that being Broadway, would increase the economic viability of the city, and that's certainly the goal of this application. So that would be it for the D1 use variance proofs, in my opinion, commissioners. That leaves the C variances, and I'm going to characterize them as the C2 context. As this board knows, there are two C contexts. The first is a C1 context. That's a traditional hardship variance. And then the second is the flexible C that allows the board to consider the benefits outweighing the detriments of the deviations from the strict application of your code. Commissioners, the primary focus for the C variance, therefore, would be the signage, particularly if you're looking at the C2 standards. A question was asked about whether the signs are permitted. I would just submit to the board that the redevelopment plan, give me 1 second, I want to make sure I quote it correctly, on page 69 provides the standards for signage in commercial areas. So what you see on our plans is basically the same as what would be proposed. And so we have the deviation from the freestanding sign, the number of wall signs, and the sign area. There is quite a bit of literature in the planning world for signage. Our office uses the signage handbook and also the more recent book offered by the American Planning Association called Street Graphics. All of these literature sources cite some rationale for deviation from sign standards. I'm just going to go through one or two of them. The key factors affecting driver behavior include the following: conspicuity, legibility, and readability. And the goal of the sign package in this application is to make sure, particularly given it's a corner lot and with a setback, that drivers can easily identify the site via its sign package. The freestanding sign is in part due to the setback, so we wanted the freestanding sign to signal to particularly vehicular traffic that the Taco Bell business is here. The wall signs are designed to reach visibility on both sides of this corner lot. And so in our opinion, the sign package as presented is context sensitive for this site given its location. There are a couple of court cases. One is State v. Miller, the other is the Valenti v. Obsequian court case. both of which suggest that sign packages should be designed to, again, be readable, conspicuous, and legible, but also effectuate good safety for vehicular traffic, again, meaning so that vehicular traffic can identify the site, care easily, make intelligent decisions when entering a site, exiting site, and that's what is intended in our application this evening. For the relief to be granted under C2, again, we have to show that the purposes of zoning would be advanced. In my opinion, the same purposes would be advanced for this C2 as would have been for the D1. In this case, a particular focus on the subsection A to promote general health, safety, and welfare, and that's why I focused on the readability, legibility, and conspicuity of the signage, how that enhances or promotes traffic safety. Subsection I to promote the visual environment. Again, the sign package here was designed specifically to brand Taco Bell or be in keeping with Taco Bell's branding and with their high standards for signage on each of their sites. In terms of the benefits, in my opinion, as already has been stated, the benefits would far outweigh any detriments given the sign pattern in this area. In my opinion, there would be no substantial detriment to the public good. In fact, I would submit to the board that what you're seeing in our sign package is perhaps better than some of the sign packages in the immediate vicinity. For those reasons, in my opinion, it's a better zoning alternative than a strict application of your code. And again, there's no impairment to your zone plan or zoning ordinance. So that would be the C and D proofs. I hope the board finds that both have been met in terms of the standards for the D1 and the C2 for the signage. I'm available to answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, Gary.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Williams, I'm sure it feels great not to have to defend 15 variances and 20 parking shortage spaces.
I'm almost a little drunk with joy, yes.
Yeah, and I have to mark down this date, April 14th, that I actually agree with you. So, I'm going to have to tell you, Mayor, to give you a raise. Commissioners, obviously, the existing site is run down, as Mr. Williams alluded to. There are no curbs along East 18th Street. You have multiple businesses there, and the area, the site itself is a little deplorable. You're going to have something that is aesthetically beautiful for the neighborhood. Also, there is, in the 4th Ward, there is a lot of residential in the entire area, which would probably enjoy the new proposal. I have, I agree with Mr. Williams on his proofs. This would be a better application, and I have no negative impact from the existing to the proposed. Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. Any commissioners?
No, I would like to actually make a motion to approve this application.
Oh, we're not done yet.
Okay, so then continue.
We also have somebody online who'd like to speak.
Yeah, last round. Any other commissioners?
Yes, hi. Good evening, Chairman. This is
Furman.
Commissioner Furman. I do have a question for the applicant. May I please proceed?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. How many employees are we planning to have on this new business?
Doc, can you address that question, please?
Yes, I spoke to the franchisee and he says,
Could you turn your camera on, Mr. Shaw?
I believe the application said 3, Commissioner? But, I'll let, Mr. Shaw, verify that or.
Thank you.
Can you guys see and hear me? I apologize.
Yes, we see you.
Okay, so we plan to have approximately 30 employees, sir, at this location. And these employees, of course, would be working in multiple shifts during the day. So at any given time, we would have 5 to 6 people working, serving customers.
How many of those employees are going to be Paterson resident?
We would hope that they're all Paterson residents. We take pride in offering employment to the communities we do business in. We own and operate 10 other Taco Bells at this time, and over 80 to 90% of the employees in those locations come from the local towns, and we plan to do the same for this location.
Thanks for your answer. Do you own any other business in Paterson?
We do have an existing Taco Bell on Market Street, 156 Market Street to be exact. And I'm proud to say that almost all of our employees are local, and most of them within a few blocks of the restaurant that walk to work.
Is this business active? Is operating at the present time?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have for now.
Thank you, Commissioner Fermi.
Commissioner White?
Yes, Commissioner White.
So the other second property you says on Market Street, is that in Paterson or is that in Elmwood Park?
That is in Paterson.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any other commissioners? Mark, can we open it up to the public?
Yes, so what I like to do is I like to make a request to anybody in the public, and then when I'm done with that, while we're waiting to see if anybody calls, I'll ask IT to allow Donnell Sheeran, who's on, to give their statement. Is that okay, Chairman?
Perfect. If you open it up, I will reach out to him. He's already on, and then we'll get him on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
To the members of the public, if you have any questions or would like to give a comment, now would be the time to give a comment. Please call 973-321-1579 and enter meeting ID number 711-680-001. Once again, 973-321-1579 and enter meeting ID number 711-680-001. While we wait to see if anybody calls, can you help us unmute Mr. Sheeran so he could?
I will take care of it at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. LaRocca, thank you so much. Chairman Rohim.
Yes.
The gentleman's name is Donnell Sheeran. Please hit *6 on your phone. Can you hear me, Mr. Sheeran?
Yes, I can.
Please say your name and address for the record. Hello? *6 on your microphone.
Okay. Hi, good evening, Maggie. Can you hear me?
Yes, I do. Spell your first name and last name and the address, please.
Yes, first name is Donnell, that's Donnell. Last name is Sharon, that's Shearin, and I'm at 152 East 33rd Street.
152?
East 33rd Street.
Thank you. The chairman will take over the meeting from here. Chairman Rohim, you may continue.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Sir, you can start with your question.
Yes, I have actually four bullet points I just want to touch on so I can stay on track and be really brief. First and foremost, thank you, commissioners, for having me and hearing my voice. Number one, during the development of the Taco Bell in that location that we're discussing, it was discussion about having one bathroom. I think the issue I'm having is because even if you have a 10 patrons, 10 chairs or seating, and you have a drive-through, I think it's by law, correct me if I'm wrong, but you should have a restroom for men and women. So you should have 2 operating bathrooms for a fast food restaurant place. Just by chance, if one bathroom goes down, the toilet's not working, you have a backup bathroom, but if you have a non-operable bathroom in a restroom, you have to close down your facility because you got to have availability for patrons to use the restroom. So having one bathroom, I think that wouldn't be suffice. You got to have 2 bathrooms. Number 2, security presence. Being in that high density populated area, which unfortunately I hate to say, I'm right next to the 4th ward. That's a high density populated area with a lot of crime, panhandling, all kinds of stuff going on. I think, you shouldn't have to wait until an incident arises to apply security for this new location. You should be establishing that right now. And what I mean by that is, even if you have a security guard, somebody that's sitting inside the restaurant, or even having a presence of a vehicle sitting in a parking lot, that automatically deters away any kind of negativity, panhandlers, people coming to this new establishment and already panhandling. And please understand, panhandling 90% of the time is conducted in drive-through areas. So if you go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, you go to McDonald's, a lot of the panhandling is done in the drive-through. So you got to address the panhandling as well and having security presence. But my last thing, the most important of all, as a 3rd Ward resident, we went to the commissioner for the city of Paterson, let them know that Walgreens, it wasn't their fault. Walgreens did what they had to do. They empty out their garbage, but what happened is the next morning you wake up, all their garbage is all on the ground because panhandlers are jumping inside the dumpsters looking for clothes, food, and they leave trash everywhere. My recommendation, like we said for Walgreens, if you're going to put dumpsters for this new Taco Bell location, please invest into dumpsters that have locking systems on it. So there'll be no access for anyone or anybody to jump into the garbage can looking for food and throwing garbage onto the ground. Because now it's going to cost a lot of money for Taco Bell, even for the city of Paterson, to help clean up when panhandlers are jumping inside those dumpsters looking for food. That was my questions or my statements. Thank you, commissioners, for allowing me to give my input. I truly appreciate you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, just briefly, if Darnell is still on the line, 1, they proposed 2 bathrooms. 2, the dumpster refuse area is gated. And 3, I think Mr. Shaw said that there would probably be some security either inside or, if necessary, additional security. So I think all of those questions were answered. I'm not sure if he was on for the entire meeting, but just for the record, they were answered.
And my client also indicates that they would lock the dumpster area so that such events could not occur. Thank you, Mr. Sheeran. That was very helpful. I was actually texting your comments to my client, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you guys can still hear me, even though you guys have the gate, can you guys still hear me?
We'll lock the gate.
Okay. Okay. Even if you lock the gate, understand individuals can still climb the gates and jump over. You got to understand that part. That's why it's so important to have the locking systems on those dumpsters.
We'll do it.
Thank you, guys.
Commissioner Baralt?
Yes, Commissioner Baralt.
Mr. Donnell, I think he brings a great point about the possibility of having a security, not waiting until things starts to happen before you actually have manned security in the place because of the area we're dealing with. I think that was an excellent point that he brought up, and I think the board should consider it as well as the developer. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Burrell.
Commissioner White?
Yes, Commissioner White.
Hi, just going back to the bathroom situation, which I talked about earlier, and listening to the caller itself, I know there was a second bathroom providing for the employees and one for the public. In the event that bathroom does go down for the public, are the patrons to use the employees' bathroom in lieu of that?
I think they would have to, Commissioner, the Board of Health would close them down if they did not have an operating bathroom in the dining room for patrons. So it would have to be that way, just according to the Board of Health regulations.
So are we going to try to find a resolution, or are we going to let something like that happen before we decide that, okay, let's install another bathroom? I mean, I think we need to figure out a solution instead of waiting for the problem to arise, I think. Thoughts?
I think they are putting in the second bathroom. It's not a question.
For the employees though, right? Is one going to be for the public and one for the employees, am I correct?
Well, that's the initial testimony. But if the bathroom goes down for either one, it has to be open for the Taco Bell to remain open just by health code.
Right. So then, if the public bathroom goes down, then that means that the public can go use the employee bathroom.
That's correct.
That's correct.
That's all. That's all I needed to know. That's it. Thank you. I'm done.
Any other commissioner?
I'm sorry, Chairman, I do have one more question.
Sure,
To the
Commissioner Furman,
applicant.
go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What's the plan to keep people loitering from the location, basically hanging out? And, there's a lot of places here in Paterson the people comes begging for money, and the customer get very afraid to go to the establishment. What is the plan?
I guess that question will be for Mr. Isabel.
Yes.
Well, I think with what we have heard so far from the commissioners, the professionals.
I'm sorry. I'd like to hear the answer from the applicant.
Okay.
Mr. Shah, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You may proceed.
And I'm sorry, sir, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just I'd like to hear the answer from the applicant.
Right. And it is a very appropriate question. As I said earlier, we do operate in Paterson, and loitering often is an issue with homeless, with people trying to sell stuff, people trying to beg. However, how we operate is we always, in our operating hours, have a certified manager in charge. We call them MICs that are responsible and are placed at the front counter, which monitor and request any of the loitering to be avoided. So we are very pleasant with our customers, and often, given the nature of the town and like everybody has spoken, instances of that do occur, but we are well versed and train our managers and have them on site to deal with them and not create that as a nuisance for our patrons, customers.
Thank you very much for your answer. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have for now.
Thank you, Commissioner Furman. Any other commissioner before?
Mr. Chairman, just so you know, there's no other callers.
Okay, thank you. All right, sir, you can bring your next witness or sum up.
We're done with witnesses, so I'd just like to make a few closing comments.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, first, thank you, everybody, for your time, your consideration. I also thank Mr. Sheeran for his thoughtful comments, and I think they're very helpful. And we're going to implement at least two of the comments that he made, and perhaps all of them. So thank you for Mr. Sheeran for his participation. Mr. Wheaton did a terrific job. Mr. Williams did a terrific job. He summed up the benefits associated with this project, and when you look at it, it really is a good thing for the neighborhood. It gives them another opportunity another option as it relates to dining. And plus, Taco Bell offers many different types of variety that you don't ordinarily see in many of the other chains. And they're open for breakfast, and it's a place for the kids to hit on the way to school and for lunch and the like. So it's a great thing for the neighborhood, and it certainly represents a vast improvement over what's there. And it's an opportunity to create an enhancement, not just from the appearance, but also from the use. So there's every reason in the world to approve it, and I really can't think of any reason that you would deny it. So for those reasons and everything we said this evening, we ask you to grant us an approval so that the building that's there now can be removed and the site can be redeveloped, and the people in this neighborhood can have another dining option. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I certainly believe that the positive criteria certainly outweighs the negative criteria in this application. I'm glad Mr. Williams is on, because I agree with his testimony 100%. First time in 10 years, whatever, however I'm here. So that being said, if the board decides to approve the application, there's two conditions. One, that those 3 parallel spaces be marked employee parking, and 2, that the curbing on the north side of the exit out to East 18th be expanded to have a little bit more room for larger vehicles to maneuver. Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners.
Okay, thank you. Any commissioners before we...
And Commissioner Varalt, I would like to go back to the element of manned security. I think that is something that I would love to see it addressed immediately and not to wait until things start to happen before doing it. I don't know if that could be accommodated as one of the conditions.
Commissioner Watkins,
Yes,
my question is actually for the applicant. How's everyone doing? Mr. Shaw, what type of training will your employees receive for customer service?
So we have extensive training provided by corporate Taco Bell, that is national standard for the brand, which is 4 weeks for our service champions, which are the people who take orders and deal with customers. Again, 4 weeks for our food champions, and they would all be food safety certified to prepare food. And our shift managers would be trained for 8 weeks, and our general manager training courses are 12 weeks. And all this training include food safety, customer service, friendliness, along with computer classes and on-the-job training. So before we open the restaurant, we would place these employees, we would hire them and place them in existing nearby restaurants and have them fully certified before we open.
Well, let me just say this. If you stay on top of your customer service, it will be a plus for you, because in the surrounding areas, customer service really isn't good. So to see a new establishment come in there with the proper customer service and treating everyone properly, not just certain people, but everyone, it goes a long way. So with that being said, that's it for me.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Commissioner.
you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, can I get a...
Charlene,
Yes.
are we proceeding?
Yes, we are. Commissioners, can I get a motion for this application?
Yes, Mr. Commissioner Vega. I'd like to make a motion to approve this application under the conditions. First off, the 3 parkings will be employees parking, is that correct? Or 2 parkings?
3 parallel spaces, yes.
And also 3 feet will be moved in that curve by 18th Street, right?
To the north, yes.
And also add an employee's bathroom to this property. That's it.
Can I get a second?
Commissioner Watkins, second. under the conditions that are mentioned. And if he left anything out, please add them, Gary. Thank you.
Yeah, that was all of those are all the conditions. Marco, just a quick question, legally, is Mr. Vega, Commissioner Vega allowed to make that motion?
Well, I was just addressing that. Well, we have two alternates this evening.
Yes, I guess I'm an alternate. I gotta find out if I can vote now.
So we have. Let me see something. We have.
We have 8 commissioners, Mr. LaRocca.
Yeah, but we have 8 commissioners, but 2.
If I would be happy to interject as the secretary, you could also ask me.
Yeah, go ahead, Maggie.
Who's the first alternate, Maggie?
The alternate is Myra Arenas is the first alternate. Commissioner Vega, just hold on a moment. I'm going to call the people that can vote. Is that okay?
I'm just gonna strike my vote, let, Mrs. Watkins take the first vote, please.
Yeah, and I think Commissioner Furman, he seconded last time.
Yes.
Let's just withdraw the vote, the motion, and let's start over.
Okay.
Commissioner Watkins, were you making a motion to approve this application based on all the conditions set forth by the planner and approved by the applicant?
Yes, Marco.
So in essence, it was the exact same motion that was placed on the record by Commissioner Vega?
Yes.
All right, so we have a motion to approve with all the conditions as detailed by our planner, as well as by the applicant's attorney, sent to on behalf of the applicant. Do we have a second to that motion?
Commissioner Furman, I would like to make the second motion.
Thank you, Commissioner
Under
Furman.
all the conditions that has been made.
Thank you.
And I would love to see a nice security system there too, understanding that, this area is very congested and
dangerous.
Everybody knows. Thank you.
Maggie, you gonna continue with the vote?
Excuse me, only the chair can direct me.
Yes, sir, you go ahead. You can continue.
Thank you. Commissioners, Commissioner Barak,
Yes.
Commissioner Furman.
For the record, can I please make a comment?
Yes, sure,
Absolutely,
Commissioner Furman.
sir.
Thank you. Mr. Shah, thanks for investing in our city of Paterson. I believe it's a great application, and what I like the most is this will benefit the city and some of the residents with new jobs opportunity. And again, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Furman, for that comment. Commissioner Minauro.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Watkins.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner White.
Yes, with the conditions as mentioned.
Thank you. Commissioner Arenas.
Yes.
Thank you. And Chairman Rohim.
Yes.
This application has been granted. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Not yet. No one can leave.
Yeah, not yet.
No
We're
one
not
should
done.
leave right now. Okay? The chairman, I have no further business. Will you proceed with closing this meeting, sir?
Yes, we're done. We will close the meeting now.
Can I have a first motion to close?
That's all right, he closed it. Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Everyone enjoy their weekend.
Happy Easter. Happy Easter to
Happy Easter. Happy
everyone celebrate.
Have a nice weekend, everybody.
Have a nice
Have a good
weekend.
one.
Good night, everyone.
Take care. Bye.